are watching 32 teams in 32 days on the Game Time Sports Network.
It's a great day, sports world. How you doing, Amon? Welcome to this episode. On this particular episode, we got the greatest team, not just in the AFC West, but the greatest in the AFC. Period. You see it. CB1 right here in the whole league. I don't care how much disrespect he gets. People may put Gonzo in front of him. Some people may put Stingley in front of him. I put Stingley like maybe third or fourth. But back to the topic of hand.
Oh, have mercy,
Denver Broncos edition of 32 teams in 32 days. My brother, how you doing today, man? We back.
Yeah, we back, man. Another day at the office. We got the Broncos today. This should be very entertaining for you, per se. It's going to be a whole lot of hate this way. But I'm going to be objective at the same time. But, yeah, man, I'm excited, man. We got the AFC West winners last year by a few games. So it's curious.
I didn't hear you.
Oh, the AFC West winners by a few games. Yeah, so let's make sure you heard that loud and clear. I want to be respectful, So yeah, man, I'm interested to see how this team did in the offseason. I'm going to be relying on you a whole lot. This is your team, of course. I know when we get to the Raiders, probably the weekend, you'll rely on me a whole lot to speak about my team. But yeah, man, I'm interested to see their draft outlook and their 2026 season outlook as well.
This team started out, what was it, 1-2, and then they went on a 7-game win streak, hit their bye week, and then went 5-1 in their last 6 games. Had a first round bye, faced Buffalo in the divisional round and won by the hairs, but they won. And then my quarterback went out. My quarterback went out on this particular play right here. And as you see right there, it looks like nothing, but then when you see a little limp there. It didn't look like anything, but later Sean got on the podium. It's a broken fractured ankle. If he does not go out of that game, Denver goes on to the next week to win, basically. Is it a guarantee? It would have been a guarantee. I don't know, but I think Bo Nix would have gave us a definite better chance than what Jarrett Stidham. And shout out to Jarrett Stidham because he made some throws in that game. He did make some. You can understand why he's a number 2. And I was relying on the fact that the games that he had with you guys. He had 2 games with you guys that impressed.
I think they were both against the 49ers, if I'm not mistaken.
It was the 49ers. I think it was the Chiefs. Remember the Chiefs in like the last game of the season, the next to the last game of the season, he played pretty tough that game too. So I'm like, maybe there's some hope. And in the first quarter, he gave us some hope. But then when that snowstorm came in,
it was a wrap. When
we did not go for the field goal in the first half, I think that hurt us a lot. But not going to rely on the pass. We're gonna, as much as it hurts and stings, we're gonna move forward. It's a different year. Coach.
Yeah, before we move on, I want to talk about that. This is the hate coming out. I want to talk about that. That Buffalo game? That injury was kind of. I hate to use the word fluke, but that one was a fluke because it was to me and you and to the audience that was viewing. It looked like a regular old quarterback who left and he got down. But I didn't see the limp off first glance. I was like, "Yo, he all right. It's going to run the clock out." But then I think me and you were talking after the game, and he was like, "Woo, we moved on to the AFC Championship. So we got the Patriots next week." They come to Mile High. You are, you know what I'm saying? I ain't joking. I mean, I ain't
I was
being
on
funny.
a high, man.
But yeah, you was on a high, and then all of a sudden, boom, that alert from Adam Schefter came down. We was like, what could it possibly be? And it was Bo Nix had a fracture, whatever. And I remember calling you, and I was like, I
I'm already like, here comes the bearer of bad news. Like,
absolutely like it's like what? Because I'm gonna be fair right here, and I hate to say this, but I feel like if Bo Nix had played that game fully, you all would have went to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying you would have won it, but you
right.
definitely would have been a representative of the AFC in that game in February for sure. I have no doubt in my mind about that.
I definitely think it would have been a better matchup. And then, granted, we had our offensive struggles as well too. Our defense played, just as well as the Patriots' defense. So don't get any discredit from them. Their defense played pretty well. Seattle's defense played great. I just think that our defense would have we would have showed up as well too. But man, I'm about to shed. I ain't gonna shed tears right now because I mean it's the past, and we on to a new season.
I mean, I do tears of joy. I mean,
of, course,
that's about it though. So
of course you do. Coach Sean Payton back to winning ways. He's made the playoffs. The Broncos have made the playoffs 2 years in a row under head coach Sean Payton. Back-to-back double-digit win seasons. In his 3 years with the franchise, Payton is 32-19. Remember that first season they went 8-9, a terrible rust season, and 184-108 career coaching record. And before that, previous 8 seasons, the franchise didn't even sniff the playoffs. So we back into the fold now, and thanks to Sean Payton. How much credit does Sean Payton get for this?
for the turnaround of the Broncos,
For the yeah for the
oh, lion's share of the credit. He has to because we know what he had, and we know what he stood for. New Orleans, they were always competitive football teams, and he's one of the most brilliant play callers that we have in our league right now. And I think for me personally, them drafting Bo Nix and then Sean Payton being married as the head coach all kind of synced together, and that was a match made in heaven. We know that first year with Russell Wilson, and they got 70 points put on their head when Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator. We know that wasn't Sean Payton's finest year as a head coach. There was a whole lot of controversy around Russell Wilson having a spot in the facility as an office, with having an office spot, and he wasn't doing all of that. Whole bunch of fluff. So
doing high knees on the plane.
yeah, high knees up and down on the plane, like Mr. Unlimited, and I get it. It's not Sean Payton's cup of tea. He's more of an old, throwback. He's comes from the Bill Parcells tree. We all knew what Bill Parcells stood for as the head coach with the Jets, Cowboys, Giants, you name them. So, yeah, I think I give Sean Payton a whole lot of credit for turning this Mile High country around. And hopefully, for your sake, they can continue this and get to that next level. But for my sake, I hope they fall back to the pack and have 2023 all over again, whatever year Hackett was there, for my sake. So yeah, with that being said, I give Sean Payton a whole lot of credit.
I just want to give you a fair warning before we get into everything. The day you remember when y'all went on that 7-game win streak against us.
Oh yeah, it was like 2 president terms. Yeah,
those days are over. they are over. Okay.
Hold up. So let me see. You're gonna take this somewhere. I don't need to go. See, here you go. I'm not gonna say it's over. It's on pause right now. It's on pause because I can for sure say this. Sean Payton is closer to being out as the Broncos head coach than Clint Kubiak for the Vegas Raiders.
Well, you don't forget, Sean Payton is signing an extension this offseason.
That don't mean nothing. Russell Wilson signed an extension. Y'all $800 million.
Also, don't forget.
Oh, here we go.
don't forget, as much as quick as you guys hire head coaches,
We fire him.
just like that. So,
Absolutely.
but we'll touch on Clint when we get to Clint.
Yeah, Clint will be this. Clint will be later on in the week. We focusing on the Broncos today.
Bo
Yeah,
Nix,
boy. Whew.
in his first 2 seasons, 24-10 record, over 7,000 yards, 7,706 to be exact, 25 touchdowns. I don't know where 23 interceptions came from. Thank you, Chat GBT, a lot for that. But I think it's 12 interceptions, 13 interceptions, something around like that.
That's probably about right. He should have thrown 23. Yeah.
It feel like it. 64.8 completion percentage, and he also does some work on the ground as well. You talk about a sophomore success in his second season. 11 interceptions, 25 touchdowns. Yeah, that's how I know ChatGPT got it wrong, man. We got to talk about that chat. But he led the league in attempts with 612 attempts. So he's dishing the ball out. It's just a collection of him not reading his right guys or the receivers dropping the balls. And with Cortland Sutton, with Troy Franklin, a couple of those guys, RJ Harvey, driving balls. I mean, that's been going on for since his rookie season. Where we can't complete drives, third downs, we 3 and outs, we off because receivers can't catch the ball or whatever the case. But as you've seen Bo Nix on 2 times a season yourself, what do you see from Bo, and what do you think he can get better at coming into this season?
I think Bo, from year 1 to year 2, I think Bo has made some jumps. We all know the head coaching change drastically helped him because OC changes, put it like that. Because I ain't gonna say head coaching change because Sean Payton was still there, but
Don't forget
having
Dave
it.
Webb is now
Dave,
called.
there you go. Davis Webb being the quarterback coach last year, and then he getting he elevated to the offensive coordinator, first time play caller. I think he'll have some rapport with Bo Nix. He'll get in his ear, see what he likes to call. And for me, I like to see Bo Nix, just like you said, complete the ball a lot more to the receivers. He takes the deep shots. Maybe he don't take them as much as I like him to, but he can stay in the pocket a little more, be more of a pocket passer because we know he can move with his legs, and obviously an unfortunate situation with the ankle and lower leg injury, but stay in the pocket a little more and just be. I'm not saying you have to be Drew Brees. You don't have to be that because that's the high bar, but just pepper the ball around, keep the chains moving, and rely on your playmakers that you've been given the past 2 seasons to move the ball, move the chains for you, like you alluded to earlier.
Yeah, about him in his completions. I feel like he can get better at that, and then that's one of the reasons why without a lot of off-season moves, we go and get Jalen Waddle from Miami, gave up a first, a third, a fourth. I think we got a fourth back. But last season in Miami, 100 targets, 64 receptions, 910 yards, and 6 catches. He started his career with 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. How big can this addition of Jalen Waddle to Denver? How big can it be?
Huge. It's huge. 'Cause I know you as a fan of Jalen Waddle was looking for somebody to be the 1A, 1B to Cortland Sutton. We all know Cortland Sutton's the big body, 6'4" guy, can go up at high point, but they never had that guy that can, hold or maintain the middle of the field. I think Jalen Waddle, he can control the middle of the field. As I alluded like a few seconds ago, you'll see Bo Nix throw the deep ball a little more this year because we all know the speed that Jalen Waddle has. And for you guys to get him for a dang near a second round pick, that was an absolute steal. So, you catch a Miami in the right time rebuilding. They got good veteran players on that team, and he was one of them that was potentially on the move. And, credit to you guys as not offensive coordinator, but your general manager going in and making a deal and making it happen. So I expect huge things from Bo Nix and Jalen Waddle week 1 out
As
the
you
gate.
as you were talking about him going over the middle of the field, that's what Bo doesn't really. His targets don't really go too much across the middle of the field, and that's where Jalen excels at those yards after the catch. You already got Cortland Sutton, the big body, 6'4", guy that you can just throw it up to. And for the last 2 seasons himself, he had 1,000 yards. He's got a 1,000 yards and maybe his second or third season in his career, but 124 targets, 74 catches, and 10-17 brick squad on the yards and 7 touchdowns. When you really talk about starting from the bottom, he's been there. When did he get there? 20, an elite quarterback this coming season and beyond.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on some of those points. And he's the first quarterback out of the that 24 class to take his team to an AFC championship. The first one. And he was the fifth one pick. I can't I don't remember which quarterback he was. It
Fourth.
was fourth.
Fourth.
No, fifth.
No, he was the 6th.
Yeah, he was the last one because
Yeah.
JJ and then Bo. Okay. So yeah, I mean he's the first one out of that class to take his team to an AFC championship. So I know there's another level that he can reach. But like you said, Cortland Sutton has to help him with the drops. Jalen Waddle has to help him with the um over the middle of the field stuff, and he has to cut down on the turnovers, the wild, erratic turnovers that he can have from time to time.
Another big question here. Is this the year that Jalen Dobbins,
Not the whole name, that is crazy.
J.K. Dobbins, can he actually become healthy this year? He's been talking about, that this is going to be the year that he can be healthy. We'll see. But if you go back to his years in Baltimore in 2020 when he got drafted, played 15 games, and then he was off to a good start, and then he ended up going out. And as you can see right here, multiple severe left knee injuries in the final preseason game. He tore his ACL and LCL, meniscus trim, and a hamstring tear, causing him to miss the entire 2021 season.
Hey, damn.
So his rookie season, he played 15. I'm not sure if he got injured there. He might not got injured there. He might have had some minor injuries there. But then his sophomore season, that was out. And then his 2022, he played 8 games. A knee surgery. Missed 9 games. 2023, torn Achilles. Causing him to miss 16 games. And in 24, I believe he was with the Chargers then. He had a MCL sprain. It cost him 4 games. And then Liz Frank injury last season. How critical is the health of J.K. Dobbins? And I know we don't know, but can this actually be a year where he can stay healthy?
Man, I think it can be a year that he stays healthy. But if you're looking at the years 21, 22, 20, he's been injured every year, so the chances of that happening again are fairly high. And I remember the torn Achilles versus with the Ravens. It happened on the first play of the game. The first play of the game, and I was like,
Glad
this
you brought
dude
that
can't
up.
just yeah, this dude cannot catch a break, man. But nevertheless, I hope he stay healthy for you guys' sake and you guys' playoff push. But there's a reason why you drafted Audrey Harvey in the second round and you go in and got Jonah Coleman in the later rounds this year because you need that insurance. So we hope he can, for football fans' sake and definitely for your sake as a Broncos fan, because we know when J.K. Dobbins is playing, he's liable to give you 100 yards any week of the season. So we'll see.
It's just something about him because in 10 games, he had 772 yards. And he was one of the leaders in rushing yards before that happened. So I'm thinking this. Now you drafted Jonah Coleman, and then you had R.J. Harvey, and this is why we got the young guns here. Not this one. Where am I at?
They don't skip me though.
Damn. Wait, there we go. Double trouble. So RJ Harvey, the 1-2 punch potentially. RJ Harvey good in the run game and good in the pass game as well. As you see the numbers that he led, I want to say all rookies with 12 total scores between running
Mm-hmm.
and running in the pass game as well. Jonah Coleman, not his best season. The year before that, his junior year, he had like over 1,000 yards, but he's rushed for like well over 4, almost 5 yards a carry in all of his years in Washington. And if you see, I know you've seen him, but talking to the audience, if you ever seen Jonah Coleman run, it's like a big bowling ball coming your way. Um, Sean Payton loves those short running backs. Both of these guys sit at 5'8", and you can just imagine just how defenses are going to be game planning against this. Now, before you give your opinion on something, let me give you how I feel like JK could be used. If you can just use JK on the other side of the field, like in between the 40, the 50, the 40, or the 20, I would much rather him be used like that because the durability has been a question. And we just anything. I just don't want this guy hurt because he can help your team going deep into the season, to the playoffs, and everything. How do you feel about that sequence right there of him being used, or is it a little too risky, or is it a little how do you feel about that?
Um, I'm not gonna say it's a little too risky. I don't know if I agree with using him inside the 50, 30, 40, and 20 because
Just
we,
for health purposes, that's all.
yeah, just for health purposes. But I feel like we haven't seen the best version of RJ Harvey, in my opinion. And until we see that, and when the opportunity is given, I think you're going to have to rely on J.K. Dobbins to do the dirty work. Carry the load for this team. So maybe they can work out something to where, like you said, for health purposes, you maximize him in this particular area of the field. But I would like to see the explosive RJ Harvey, get more touches because where he was drafted, and I think you said this, previously, maybe
Second
a
round.
round too early. You know, could have got him in the third round, could have got him in the fourth round, who knows? And I think second round pick. And not to say he did contribute immediately last year, having 12 scores that led all rookies. Don't get me wrong about that, but I want to see him tote the pill a little more, and spell J.K. Dobbins if he can. If not, you got to rely on J.K. Dobbins to do the heavy lifting here until Jonah Coleman is ready to take some of that pressure off of J.K.
I don't know how much of an immediate impact that he will make. I got a good feeling about it. I think that some guys get drafted and they make immediate impact. You know that for yourself. And then some guys it take a while. I feel like with Jonah, I just feel like he's got his mindset and maturity. I just feel like he can kind of contribute right away. It's just how is this going to go? Is it going to be JK getting the totes? Is it going to be split up? It's kind of hard because then you got your playmakers of Waddle and Sutton and the young guns. Now it's time to put that up. The young guns of Marvin Mims going to a contract year, Troy Franklin going to his third year, Pat Bryant going to his second year. Got hurt him and Troy Franklin. Got a little bit of the injury bug going there to late half of the season, late part of the season, especially in the playoffs. But there could be one of these guys that could be gone. And I'm thinking it's between either Marvin or Troy, just in case one of those receiver needy teams. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that we can keep all these guys, but with Marvin Mims, the things that he can do, especially in the punt return game, receiving game, and then those misdirections and jet sweeps and stuff that he can contribute to, and then with Troy Franklin, he can grow with with a Sutton, with a Waddle there. He can grow, and then maybe next year he can kind of like you know either take a step up or either he can contribute to another team, however that may go. But I really feel good about Pat Bryant here, and I know some things about all of these guys in your draft coverage and you talking about college football and everything. So Do you see a path where one of these guys could be traded?
Yeah, absolutely. I do see a path that one of these guys can be traded. It'd probably be Marvin Mims more than likely because he's in a contract year, and I don't know, you know, what he's going to be asking for. Maybe it's a little too rich, for the Broncos, but they do have Troy Frank and Pat Bryant to supplement Jalen Waddle and Cortland Sutton if he do stay around. So I do like Pat Bryant a whole lot. Came out of Maryland. Was it Maryland? Where he come
Illinois.
from? Illinois. It must be the other receiver I'm thinking about. But yeah, Marvin Mims remind me of, remember KJ Hamler y'all had in years back.
Yeah,
That's the between him and Troy Franklin. I think one of those gonna be the KJ Hamlin type player for you guys. Probably more of a the Troy Franklin because they're both similar. It's crazy, but you forgot one person on your graphic. With my boy Adam Troutman there. You can't be disrespectful. You can't be disrespectful to the GOAT. I don't know how you see. I don't know why you leave him off, but you
here
should have
come the,
added Adam
here come the
Troutman.
trolls.
Yeah, here come the troll. I told you I would do a little trolling this year too. But yes, in all seriousness though, this will be a big year for Marvin Mims. If he can produce and he can be better than he was last year, I can see Denver's coming to the table and saying, "Hey, let's get something done. If not, let him hit free agency and you get your comp pick and move forward in 2027."
It wouldn't be what's my man from Baltimore that just got paid?
Oh, Zay Flowers, you're not getting 411.
It's,
You're
it,
not doing that.
no, no,
Yeah, no,
it ain't none of that. But hopefully,
mm-mm, mm-mm. Get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it.
hopefully he can get paid. We got enough guys in the books now. But I kind of got a feeling. Hopefully, he can play the year out. They'll let him play the year out. But just for what he can do, I just because if you trade him away, like who's going to take his spot for all the
Right.
things he do? So I'm just hoping that they don't just pull the trigger too quick. This offensive line, um, Garrett Bowles, one of the longest tenured Broncos, drafted in 2017. And he was an older guy when he was drafted. He was like 23. No, he was
Yeah,
like
he was. Yeah,
20.
he was. Boy, he was dang near our age when he got drafted. He was
Yeah.
like 24, 25. Wow.
And remember when he first got drafted in his first couple years, man, he was Mr. False Starts. And
Boy, he was trash.
he was holding. But with a little development, and I think this is what the league is missing a lot these days. A lot of development. He's turned into one of the best left tackles in the game. 2 sacks allowed last year. Ben Powers, who missed some time, 8 games total, 6 starts, 2 sacks allowed. He took a pay cut, and this is a this is a big year for him as well. Luke Wattenberg got paid last offseason.
Mm-hmm.
15 games, 0 sacks allowed. Quinn Miners, who did not look good in that AFC Championship game. Who my DTs are there? In New England,
It was Barmore and
Christian
somebody else.
Barmore, and the other one that got paid that came from Philly. I know because I'm blanking on his name right
Oh,
now.
Milton Williams.
Milton Williams. They took him to school in that AFC Championship game. He allowed 2 sacks last year, and Mike McGlinchey, who we used to name Mike McFlinchy, and false starts and holding. He allowed 3 sacks last year, and he's been improving as well. It's one of the best offensive lines in the league, and they got some camaraderie there. And I feel real good about this unit. I'm just hoping that no, I mean, of course, it's the game of football. I'm just hoping like that the injury bug doesn't catch up.
Yeah, man, I really like this unit as well. I'm a big fan of Quentin Miners, man. I like his game. He had a rough AFC Championship, as you said. It wasn't, and there ain't no shame in that, you know what I mean. But I really like Quentin Miners. I think he's probably the best left guard. If you pull him back up for me, I think he's probably the best guard in the game. In my right guard, sorry, I think he's the best right guard in the game. You could put him up there with Quentin Nelson. he's in that echelon. He's in that tier. He's had a rough game last year. And Garrett Bowles, like you said, I remember when he first came in the league, he was going against Max Crosby and those boys, and Max Crosby was just having his way. But oh, they was whooping him. Oh, they was whooping him, boy. They was giving him the business, boy. I know you dreams and nightmares, boy. But he stuck with it. He got better, and he probably arguably one of the top 6, 7 left tackles that any team would love to have. So I mean, all together, I do like this line. They keep both Knicks pretty clean. And Mike McGlinchey, he came from Notre Dame. He was somewhere else
Yeah.
before he came to Denver, San Francisco. Um, and he can be steady, Eddie, but he has to clean up some of the penalties, as you would say. But yeah, solid unit, man, solid unit.
It's a solid unit, and it's a veteran unit, and it's a unit that those units like that are what carries you deep into the playoffs, especially what they got familiarity with each other, they talk to each other, things like that. So I feel really good about this unit. Let's talk about the key additions, because it ain't much. And they pretty much bought a lot of their guys back. I think out of the 23 free agents, they bought like 18 back. So that's a lot of experience with each other. John Franklin Myers, sad to see him go. He had 7.5 sacks last season. I want to say it was like third on the team, but you lose out on him. We can't pay him and Zach Allen. PJ Locke went to Dallas, a good depth safety. And then we picked up Jalen Waddle, and then later on in free agency, picked up Tyson Anderson, a special teamer, and also depth piece on the safety spot out there from Cincinnati. So, and then you go to the draft picks, 7 total. Pick up Tyler Onyedim from Texas A&M, who could be a John Franklin Myers replacement. Jonah Coleman, pick 108. Cage Casey, depth piece, who could also be in line to start in maybe like a year. He can also play guard as well out of Boise State. And at pick 152, Justin Jolie out of NC State, big body tight end who can catch, and Sean loves those big body tight ends. Miles Scott, the safety out of Illinois, who I feel real good about, and Dalen Bentley, tight end out of Utah, and then Red Murdoch out of Buffalo by way of Hopewell.
Mm.
And he also played some ball at Fork Union as well. So how you feel about this draft class before we get it? How you feel about this draft class, and then I get to my point after that.
This draft class was a depth draft class to me. You probably get a Tyler will probably start for you out of Texas A&M, the John Franklin Myers piece, be his replacement. I think he will see the action early. Jonah Coleman, as we spoke about in the last segment, we'll see him hit the field at some point. And now tight ends, y'all drafted 2, so I don't know how Sean Payton feel about his tight ends that he had on the roster before he drafted these 2. But he's at least throwing some players in the mix and see if he can get super duper competitive in that room. But like you were saying, I think y'all free agency was Jalen Waddle. That was a massive trade for you guys, and we'll see how it plays out here in less than a month. Yeah, less than a month now.
At the tight end spot, we didn't touch on. I know you talked about Adam Troutman, but we also have Evan Ingram on the squad. Could he, in your opinion, be a trade piece? Being that I think he might be going to his second of his 3-year deal, but with them drafting 2 tight ends, could he also be on the way out?
Yeah, I think Adam Troutman, he's your joker that Sean Payton was looking for. So, with that being said, yes, I don't see Ingram being on the team after this year because of you drafting 2, and I think you were very high on Justin Jolie coming out of NC State. I know a couple of other people were as well, and to get him where y'all can get him, I think he can play the and we'll probably talk about this team tomorrow, either the next day. The tight end that the Chargers drafted that made a Rondé Gaston. He can have Jolie can have that. Jolie can have that Rondé Gaston type impact. with the Broncos. I know you were a big fan of Oronde, when he came out Syracuse last year. So hopefully, they get their footing and they can contribute right away. If not, you'll see a lot more of Adam Troutman, the Joker, and Evan Ingram until those guys, get up to get up to speed.
Yeah, going to the defensive side of the ball.
Ooh, mm.
I know we lost Franklin Myers, but don't want the people to forget we did draft Savion Jones last year. I want to say he was a second round, third round pick last year. But we got him in the fold as well, and then Awazarike, who he was suspended for gambling a couple years ago. He's got something to prove as well too. After missing so many times, and then he had 3.5 sacks last year, so he's got to step up as well too. I think we feel really good. A lot of depth on that defensive line. That's what you want. Let's talk about elite company here. And Nick Bonito, who had 14 sacks, 28 quarterback hits, 14 TFLs, and 46 tackles. He made a Pro Bowl last year. His second Pro Bowl, Zach Allen, who constantly gets disrespected amongst defensive tackles. 38 tackles, 7 sacks, 47 quarterback hits. That was first in the league, and he had an All-Pro year. What's your thoughts on these two in particular, and the impact that they can bring to the game?
Certified game records. Certified game records, man. Zach Allen. I've been watching Zach Allen a long time. I don't think people remember him. Remember, he was in Arizona for a while
Vance
before you
Joseph.
got before you guys signed him. So he just came, and I guess change of scenery does helps. He's elite at what he do. 47 QB hits, all pro. And then you got Nick Bonito, coming out of Oklahoma a few years ago. He had a slow rookie season. And, last past couple of seasons, he just took off. He's amazing. So hopefully he can keep, on the upward trajectory this year. 14 sacks for him last year. He got paid, deservedly so.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to these two guys along with the rookie you guys drafted as well, Tyler. I can't pronounce his name. I'm gonna get it in fact though. Only Adam to wreak havoc again like they did last year and keep improving.
With only Adam. You also got your boy Jonah Ellis, Mr. Biting too much, and he couldn't catch Drake May on that last play where he got that first down and could have.
Dreams and nightmares, man. Dreams and nightmares. It's okay, bro.
In early part of the offseason, they were talking about switching him to middle linebacker, and I'm like, I don't think that's not a good idea. I don't think Jonah's that quick. But he's back at the offensive line. He's back at the outside linebacker spot, and that's where he thrives. And so much depth behind there. Q Robinson, who was drafted out of Alabama last year, he had a good couple games in the postseason. So you bring him back, Jordan Taylor. You bring him back, Drew Sanders, who can't stay healthy to save his life.
That's one that I had hope for, and he just can't stay healthy. Out of Arkansas, he just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, drafted
a couple years ago,
so 4 years ago, and since he's been in the league, cannot stay healthy. So when we drafted him, I'm like, I feel really good about this guy, but can never see it. We also got Terrion York out of Texas A&M as an undrafted free agent. Justin Sternile, bring him back. So it's a lot. Alex Singleton brought him back as well. So it's a lot of depth that we have on here on this defensive front. Jonathan Cooper going through his legal situation. I'm sure he's going to be missing some games this season. But I feel really good about the DJ Jones, Malcolm Roach. You bring all of these guys back. So
Malcolm Roach, boy, I don't know that he just. Oh my God, he is super nice. I think it was the playoff run y'all had. I don't know what game, that Buffalo game. I don't know. It might have been I don't know. It had to be the Buffalo game. He just went crazy. I was like, "Yo, are they gonna be able to afford him?"
Yeah,
but they ended up bringing him back though. So
Yeah, free agent edition last season. He signed a 2-year deal, 2 year, 3 year.
Yeah,
But I mean, he was very key, and it's like those guys like that to do the dirty work and just come up big in those spots. Um, what we going next?
I'm pretty sure the secondary. I'm pretty sure Amon one other place to go.
Hey, there. In the second there, Brandon Jones. He was limited to 14 games last season, 53.3 rate, 7 PDs, no touchdowns allowed in his games there. Not to say he was shut down, but he's going to his last year of his deal, and I think that's where we get the pick from my guy out of Illinois, who I just talked about. Maybe he can replace him. But Talanoa Hufanga going into his second year of his 3-year deal. Played good in some spots. Played excellent in some spots. Jade Barron, who's drafted 20th overall, didn't really see a lot of snaps because, I mean, just because of Jaquan McMillan I'm surprised he wasn't a Pro Bowl last year, but he was playing out of his mind, just making plays everywhere. And then Riley Moss, who at times can look like he's getting picked on and definitely getting the better of, but he also comes up in big spots as well. Led the league in PDs with 19 pass defense. What's your thoughts on Riley Moss? Because I like Riley Moss, and then I'm like, if they don't sign him to an extension, and let him go somewhere else, I can also see that as well. But what's your thoughts on Riley Moss and then the rest of the secondary?
Boy, I tell you what, you can look this graphic up right here, boy. Riley Moss, he battle tested. I tell you that for sure. if he's something, he battle tested. They picked on him, and sometimes they got the best of him, and sometimes he held his own as well. I can say that, firsthand, being a Raiders fan, that he can hold his own, man. And Jaquan McMillan, who played out his mind, like you said last year, especially in the playoffs, they kind of held off Jade Barron, that first round pick that I think most of the Broncos fans were excited to see. And then Talanoa Hufanga to come over from San Francisco. He's been injury riddled for the past couple seasons.
Right.
But I'm finally glad to see him, being enforcer across the middle and be healthy. And Brandon Jones is being steady Eddie, man. He played well for y'all. Like you said, 14 games, 0 touchdown allowed, 7 pass defended. And then, once we get to the big dog on the next slide, I'm assuming. He is he rounds out this secondary, and I think they all everything runs through him. But he's taking your number one corner, your number one receiver, number 2 receiver, your number 3 receiver, and he's going to lock down the side of the field wherever he's at. Don't throw his way. We know his dad was a former Pro Bowler as well for the Miami Dolphins. So it's in his bloodline. We know he went to Alabama. He coached up by Nick Saban. So that right there alone speaks to what kind of player that, or players they have down there. So that guy he's a special one, and he gets paid like a special one. And I don't expect anything different from him. I don't expect no drop off no time soon. Not unless he requests a trade or something. He can come play for the Raiders if he wants to. But other than that, they're going to be lights out again as well. And I don't see nothing changing in the foreseeable future.
He got an increase on a raise this past off season. He did, but he's also like maybe the 5th or 6th paid cornerback because you had so many cornerbacks.
Yeah, they're going to jump each other. You know they are. Who's next? I don't know who's next.
I think who's first is somebody recently just got paid. I know.
Was it Trent? Trent. Look, just being nosy. Got Trent. And then JC Stingley got paid.
Gonzo is up. But
Gonzo and Spoon are next.
And then my boy Sauce.
And Sauce got paid. Yeah, your boy. Sauce, all of them got paid. I think they're around 25, 26, 27. And I think Trent is at 31.
31, yeah.
So Gonzo and Spoon are next. So they should be hovering around that $29, $30 million range. And then if I'm PS2, I'm like, all right, let's get to the table and rework something.
Like I got a few million on up front this past off season, but if I come out here and I get an all pro season this year, changes need to be made. I need to be that number one guy. Especially if he can say the last 2 seasons, like he's kind of like nagging injuries, missing a few games. Once you start missing a few games, back-to-back seasons, like you start looking like that.
Maybe he don't want to be in Denver no more. Maybe he want to be
Oh
somewhere
man, he
else.
loved Denver.
Yeah, he do.
He
His college teammate out there, Jalen Waddle now. So
hey,
yeah.
it's all written right there for him. It's all written right there for him. Let's get into the schedule, and one of the toughest schedules that we have. Starting off at the Chiefs on a Monday night in Week 1. You got the Jags, you got the Rams, both at home. It's two tough matchups. You got at the 49ers, you got at the Chargers, you got the Seahawks. You got the Seahawks on a Thursday night. Then you take a look, you get a little break. You get the Cardinals. You get the Chiefs. You get the pay. I know you. Yeah, I was about to say my 4-5 win Cardinals.
You should have. You should have, boy.
You get the Chiefs. You get at the Panthers. You get the bye week in Week 10, and you get the Raiders at the Steelers, the Dolphins, Jets, Raiders again. Before you taking the Bills, Patriots, and then the Chargers in the last 3 stretches of the game. How difficult is the schedule for you?
I mean, they're definitely gonna be under the spotlight this year. They got a Monday night game at Kansas City Week 1, then Week 3 at the Rams, and they got the Super Bowl champions on Prime on Thursday. That's always tricky. Then you got the Steelers on Prime. Then you got the Bills. That's Christmas Day, right?
It's on Netflix.
Woo! I might renew my subscription for that one. Um, but yeah, this guy they're set up pretty well to be right back there as AFC West champs again this year. I don't see nothing that's really holding them back. They got a couple teams that they should take care of, maybe like the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Dolphins. I don't see them beating the Raiders. They probably split with them. I mean, my humble opinion, they probably split with the Chargers, split with the Chiefs. Um, Other than that, the Jets, yeah, they're gonna be right back there, bro. Barn a catastrophic injury of some sort, I expect them to be right back there competing for the 1 seed.
I think this Chiefs game is tricky because we don't know what Pat's going to be looking like in the first game of the season and how that whole team is going to be looking. They losing receivers left and right. I think.
Yeah. But if you don't know what he looked like Week 1, you definitely gonna know what he looked like Week 8. I'll tell you that for sure.
Damn right. And I'm glad we got both matchups in between Week 10. Both of those matchups between those guys. Glad we got that. And then that Jaguars game, we need revenge on that because they came into our house last year and beat the snot out of us. The Rams won. And I hope Aaron Donald's not coming back. But if so, I mean, hey, we're gonna take care of business. But that's a Sunday night on the bright lights. But yeah, that first stretch right there, and up until you get to the Cardinals game, is like a gauntlet. And 2 tough games with the Chiefs and then the Panthers. And then right after that, we get the bye, and then we probably put up 50 against the Raiders. But then, Steelers could be a tough matchup. The Dolphins, we need to get our 70 points back. I think Sean Payton, the coach, you know him, it's going to be probably a petty individual and probably put 80 up on him. The Jets always seem to be playing them kind of like to their level, and then the Raiders will put up another 90 against them. Before those last 3 games right there is a gauntlet in itself before hitting the playoffs. So my goodness.
Yeah, I'm looking, man. Like before we move on, I'm looking at this schedule. I'm trying to count losses. It's easy to count wins than it is to count losses. You know what I mean? It's like, man, I don't know. It'll be tough, man. Like I ain't say y'all going 17-0, but
I was just about to say, you think you're going 17-0?
No, y'all ain't. Get somebody else to do that. Absolutely not, bro. But
what's your final take on the team? What would you want to see from this team coming up this season?
I would want to see Jalen Waddle, see how he gets implemented into this offense, and how I want to see Bo Nix elevate and take that next step, get into that, get into that Drake May conversation, get into that Jaden Daniels conversation, the Caleb Williams conversation, get into them young guys, rightfully so, which he should be there, but he should be brought up a lot more with those guys, if that makes sense.
And, and
I don't think he get the respect he deserves because of what Jaden did his rookie year, what Drake May's doing his second year going to Super Bowl, and what Caleb brings, with the dynamic arm and this talent that he has. I think they're disrespecting Bo Nix a little bit, but once again, like I always say, he can put that to bed by following up and having another phenomenal 2026 campaign. So when the do roll around, he'll be the one that's mentioned first before a Drake or Caleb or Jaden or whatever the case may be. So I want him to take that next step and elevate. He elevate and see how far he can take this team.
I dig you on that, on the disrespectful part, but I also understand why. Like, should he not be disrespected because of the fact that he got his team to the AFC Championship game and he's got 24 wins in his first 2 seasons? Like, he should be in the conversation too, but of how they win the games. The media, they're so fixed on that. They're not paying attention to, Drake May just had like the easiest schedule in his second season. But they're looking at how, okay, Bo Nix had 7 game winning drives last season. I think they kind of like, it was like either 1 or 2 as far as leading the league in game winning drives. And
especially that Giants game when it was down like 30-0 or something like that. I don't know the exact number though,
but just the fact of how you're winning these games and how you're always down and you're playing down to the team levels, how the offense is just so stagnant and not moving. I think that's why the disrespect comes the way it does. And this season is a spot for him. It's a bright spot where if he can get the gimpy ankle can stay in place, I think because he already said he's not going to stop running. That's just a part of his game.
Sure.
But if he can utilize his weapons and if his weapons can actually, help him out, catch the ball, then in the run game can get right. The run game, it got better, but after JK went down, it was non-existent. So that's where Jonah Coleman comes in and we can get those 4 yards of carry. It's a lot. And I mean, I'm kind of mad that a lot of people are kind of paying attention to us now because now it's like, nah, like y'all wasn't on it before. Like let keep sleeping on us, but now that everybody's on us now, it's like.
First of all, ain't nobody on y'all. First of all, ain't nobody on y'all. Ain't nobody on y'all like that. Let's be for real. Like for real, ain't nobody on y'all.
No, I'm serious.
No, I mean we're aware, but we're not on y'all. We ain't nobody like, oh my god, we ain't scared to play Denver. Ain't nobody doing that. You know what I'm saying?
No. But being mentioned in that. Oh, I have Denver winning the AFC, or I have Denver should be looked out. Like we used to not nobody talking about.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And so, I know me. I think. No, man, I ain't gonna get you started right now. I ain't get you started because you're not gonna be cussing on these airways. Absolutely not.
Like we are already approaching an hour.
I know, right? And God forbid, I say CJ Stroud better than Bo Nix. You probably come through the camera screen. So we're gonna say that for.
We probably go for another hour.
Yeah, we're gonna say that for the AFC South. We get to the Texas though, but yeah, man, I agree with you with your premise. The national media is paying a lot more attention now than they were in the past. So it's gonna be a lot of pressure on the Broncos to get back there. People expect y'all to get back there. I know you expect to get back there. I know my friend Gary, he's a big Broncos fan out of Kentucky. He expects them to get there. So
shout out to Gary, Broncos country, man.
Yeah, he expected Broncos to do no less than the Super Bowl. So it's gonna be interesting to see, man, here in a few weeks. A few weeks here.
If we start out slow, I wouldn't be surprised. But it's not how you start; it's how you finish.
1,000%.
So that concludes the greatest team in the NFL.
Lord have mercy.
Chargers tomorrow. I think they came in second place last year. So we'll talk about the Chargers tomorrow when we get to the rest of the teams later on in the week. For Amon, I'm Larry. This is 32 and 32. Denver, Broncos country.